So yesterday's volume value area high 67s, today's volume value area low 66s. That's why I've marked in this zone, and we've got an inside day failure in play. So there might be a potential trade coming here in Bunds, but we would have to get down through there and then look for it to take out the other side of the inside day, which is also right where ATR is. Good luck getting a filler tick below that, but I'll still go for it anyway. Do I consider changing my targets by a little to account for the possibility of not getting filled? No, I just like to not get filled and then just fucking rant and rave and smash the desk and moan about it afterwards. And then scramble for the exit and get 4 ticks worse price. I much prefer that. It's more fun. No, I generally will go for an area, and then if it doesn't fill, I will be straight out, like hovering over the mouse, especially at a key area like that. Because sometimes it will just trade straight through it, and I can't bear getting out right on the high when you just know it's going through. I don't get missed fills that much on trades. I am exaggerating it slightly, but you certainly would have got one up there. Well, 31 contracts changed hands, so somebody got something. You can bet your fucking bottom dollar I wouldn't have got anything if I'd have been trying to get out up there. Do you adjust slightly for spread to get filled on limit orders? Yes, I do. These charts work off the bid. So say I want to buy the head of this hammer in euro, which I don't by the way, but say I did, then I'd go on to CMC, pull up their chart and change it to a buy side chart so I can see what the buy price is at the high of this hammer. And that's where I place my order. No, I don't trade BTC with CMC. For some reason which I haven't bothered to work out why, you can't place limit orders. Assume you trade ES on the 5 minute, okay, and you wake up to a rally like this. How the fuck should I trade this? Well, it depends how you trade. If it's me, I deal with this in a very, very specific way as a swing trader, a very scientific way. And the way I do it is I pull up the chart and then I reach for this X at the top right hand corner and I press that. There's always something that's moving. So, I look at the S&P and go, nah, there's easier money elsewhere. And you'll get some trader who makes their living in the S&P that will totally disagree with that. And they'll go, what? That's ridiculous. There's always a trade. Come down to the 5 minute. Come down to the 3 minute. Come down to the 1 minute. How can you say there's no action? There is action, just not for the way that I do things. And also, there's absolutely no doubt that there's easier action in other markets if you're looking at enough stuff. We'll go over oil in a bit because I might have to crack that short. Don't think I'll get a fill today, but I'm definitely putting an offer in oil. Possible fill tomorrow. Want to sell that? You've probably got about 20 minutes to work out where I'm going to sell that. That's a good guess, Ryan. 69.43 you say. It's not the right answer, but it's close. 70.04? Nah, you're miles off, mate. Although you might be looking at a different chart. I'm looking at the NYMEX November. Right, okay, it's gone 2. Let's get cracking. So quick recap of Bunds. So what I said is I wanted to see it hover underneath the inside day high, and I'd try and buy basically a pullback to previous week's volume value area high and look through a push through to take the inside day high. It's basically just gone straight there. We got the 12 to 1 p.m. candle close through. Then it wasn't quite high enough as a close for me to be convinced of the shallow pullback and then run on it theory, but it has now made that move. So we have failed one side of the inside day. I'm not getting in up there. Now sometimes, if I'm really convinced, I will take an entry, because you do want to get in as close as possible to where you feel wrong. And if you think that the inside day failure is occurring at a very important level on the charts, then you want to get in as close as possible as you can to it. If this had been the first time back to this shooting star, so if we'd say created an inside day underneath that and then broke the high into that low, I would be all over this up here. But as it is, I'm not taking a huge amount of importance in terms of location for this inside day failure. But if it starts to extend to the downside and breaks this level, which is to me really critical, it's like I've already said, yesterday's volume value area high, today's volume value area low, almost overlapping. You can see the tails on the candles. If we break that, I'm definitely taking a position. And we'll be moving away from the previous week's volume value area high as well. So the stars will be aligned down there in Bund. So I've had so many questions about this Aussie dollar and why I didn't like it. And one fella said something on Twitter about I was in his EFL and he didn't like the Aussie and it would have stopped out. And I think this is instinct. Can it be taught? It definitely can be taught. There was a feeling that there might be some fuckery. And you know what? You could have largely ignored that feeling, because did you get a reaction from the level? Yes, you got this shooting star. Could you have moved your stop down if you'd been filled there above the shooting star? Yes, you would have basically got a scratch. So feeling can fuck off. You still could have taken that trade without doing your arse and got a scratch out of it. But the feeling that this probably wasn't going to work was based on the fact that it had this very sharp sell-off yesterday, and then it's come all the way back and undone 60% of it into the level. And usually you don't see that so quickly, and when you do, you have to be very careful. So the caution here was, I'm not just going to ignore it. I'm going to watch that level. I'm going to see if we get price action. We get some price action in terms of the shooting star. So what was the next play then? Let's confirm that once more by seeing a sharp move down in the next candle, preferably getting through this last high pre-break, and then we'll offer the shooting star low on a quick pullback and look for it to rotate lower, because you know that we often retest the spike candles. So, I was being overtly cautious there, but I just really didn't trust it. But there's no doubt that this is the focal point for the day's action, and you can see that in the fact that, look, now we've broken above it, we've retested it fucking perfectly from the other side. So you know the market's respecting this level, and you know this level is important, but you should know that already because it's a weekly swing high, so it's very, very critical. Yeah, I mean, experience definitely does count for a lot, because you have a lot of things that happen to you, and if you have a good memory, and especially if you write things down and record your experiences with journaling or notes or what have you, you grow to learn from them. So many, many times over the years, countless times, I've seen a sharp move down like that and I've thought, right, I need to get on board it. And I've waited for a good level and it's come back very, very quickly. And I've thought, brilliant, straight back there. This is going to be such a great opportunity. And I haven't got to wait a couple of days for a fucking retest. I'm getting some action the next day. And then it just blows right through my level. And I'm like, what? That was a great level. How have I done my arse on that? But it happens enough times that eventually you learn from it. So when you've had such a sharp move to the downside, I don't trust it coming back that quickly. But again, that doesn't mean you should just rule it out, and say, right, it's definitely not going to work. It did work. The level held, and it held for a good hour. It just didn't continue. But you can see that if you're adept with your risk management, you could have got out of that without doing any damage to your account at all. Well, if you'd have sold 68.70 and you'd put your stop at what, probably 71 spread, you might have taken a 2-pip loss if you'd managed that right. Look at the New Zealand dollar. Same thing's happening here. It's come right up into the level, the low of the shooting star. It's kind of reached its corresponding level that we were looking at in the Aussie dollar. Perfect reaction. Look at that. Absolutely perfect reaction. Where does it go? To the weekly swing high, and now you're offside. So As I say, I think I said this morning, if you were going to short there, what do you have to do? Be fucking careful of this. It's got to get down through there very quickly. What do you do if you've sold it there and you see this? Get out now. You can still get out where you got in. You've got that room there, so it has the pullback. Then you get this inkling from the bullish engulfing off of the weekly that you might be about to get fucked. Diddy's behind you with the dildo. Get the hell out of the way. And then you can just wait and see. You know, you might cover it here, and then in the next candle, it gets back down below the weekly swing high. Okay, maybe you've got to get in again. But I think it's better to play like that and play good defence, as opposed to just blindly holding this and going, oh, I hope this comes good. I've got my stop up here. Hopefully it won't extend up there. But again, you have to take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt, because the only thing that really matters is, does active management pay you? It pays me over time, but does it pay you? Some people are shit at managing trades and they're just better off doing nothing. Hi sir, I am a Nigerian prince. I've lost my wallet. Can you send $1,000 so I can get out? How the fuck did you get in here? Boons at a new high. Looking at these pairs like the Aussie, the New Zealand, if either, both of them get back convincingly down below the weekly swing high, possible short opportunity. But I really need to see it get down through there and really start moving lower, start breaking supports. Let's see some continued weakness come in. There's no rush to trade. When we click the mouse, we have one sole aim, which is to nail it. Not, this might go, this is a decent R if it goes, this level looks okay. It is, we're fucking nailing this. Imagine you had to borrow money for your next trade from a loan shark. And if you don't pay them back, they are going to come around and break your fucking kneecaps. But here's the kicker. You've got to trade their money. Now tell me what setup you trade. And that's what I've done. I funded my accounts from a fucking Hounslow-based loan shark. And that's why I'm so picky. I don't tell anyone that, obviously, but... I ain't got a bean to my name, mate. I went down the pub and I said, can someone lend me 10 grand for an account? And here I am. It's going well so far. Right, the metals are selling off. Sorry, Tom, I've been absent from the last 2 webinars. Is the BTC trade still on? Yeah, there's no order in that at the moment, but I am prepared to hit it if it gets up there. I'm just going to watch it, and if it starts to explode, get the order in before it hits. I've got no orders in at the moment. I am going to put an order in crude oil before the session closes, but it's not going to get up there in this session, so there's no rush on that. Can you call a trade, please? Let's look at oil. Right, so head of hammer, explosive move up to the low of this where we turned, and we're now moving back down through the hammer high. That's the first thing I'm seeing on that weekly chart, and that is pattern failure in play, and we're coming into the end of the week. That looks bearish to me, and I'm already starting to think about it running down here. Not this week, but looking to get a position built for it to move down to that low and through it. So where is the head of the hammer coming in on the daily time frame? You can see these lows. Yesterday's low and Monday's low just above it. So we've got that area as very important. Flip it down to the hourly and you'll see where the upside ATR comes in. But have a look at this level here. That's where I'd like to offer it. Why here? Why not there? Why not right up here at the last tiny little bit of buying that came in before we fell out of bed. Why here? Well, I want to be in front of the head of the weekly hammer, where traders could be potentially trapped from. But also, take a fib, take it from the high, and draw it down to the low. And look where the 38 comes in. There's something about the 38% fib in crude. Don't ask me what it is, because I don't fucking know. But this is scarily accurate on significant swing highs to lows or lows to highs. It's something I've noticed many, many years ago, and it never fails to wow me how the market tends to turn off of it. So that's where I want to offer it. Now, obviously that 38% fib is going to move lower all the time. Look, already starting to move lower. If it starts getting a long way away from here, I might even offer it at this low. That's the power I put in the 38 fib in crude oil. And I don't do this in any other market, by the way. But at the moment, the trade's going to be set up like this. Stop above this thrust. Target all the way down here for a potential 6.85R. Potential is the really important word there. On crude, the 38 fib never fails. Not never fails, but it's uncannily often a reaction point. But take that with some context. You can't start fucking drawing 38% fibs on every single little swing, going this low to this high, and just start measuring it everywhere. You're going to do your arse. It really needs to be from key swing lows to highs on the higher time frame. So this is a daily high all the way down to the current low. That's if it pulls back now. We don't know where this 38% fib is going to be when this makes a low, but watch it. Why wouldn't that head of hammer been valid for long? On the weekly, it's prior support. I don't buy prior support. There's no naked level around here. Where's the naked level? You need old highs with a clear thrust candle through them, and we haven't got that. So that's how I'm setting that crude oil trade up. Again, the order's not in that, much like Bitcoin. If we start to move towards it, I will put that order in. But you can rest assured, if oil hits that level, there's going to be a sell order in there from me, and the same as in crypto, as it is currently. Keep your eye on the ATR in BTC. This level that I'm looking to sell in BTC, it must be behind ATR. If it's not behind ATR, there's not a snowball's chance in hell that I'm taking that short, because that level is in the middle of nowhere on the higher time frame. So that is a really pure mean reversion trade, where you don't have to have a higher time frame level, but you have to have the market past its ATR. What's this fucking exclamation mark that's just come up? We are performing planned maintenance on drawing storage. You may experience issues loading or saving your drawings. Well, that's alright. You know how we roll in EFL. We just fucking delete all the drawings every morning and just put them all back in. Yeah, Powell will be key today. It's got the potential to be a decent driver, as has home sales actually at 3. But you see, my level of being patient and waiting for things means I can almost anticipate the times of trades. Not literally, like it's going to happen at 10 past 4 tonight. But, for example, if I'm looking at the Aussie dollar and I know that on an hourly time frame, it's got to make a significant move down through the weekly swing high and say through the last high pre-break, I know that I won't be entering any trade in this in the 2 till 3 hour. Then I don't trade immediate retests, so I know I won't be trading it in the 3 till 4 hour. So the very earliest I could get on board this trade, even if it looks good, is after 4. I will trade late in the New York session. Not really buns though. If I've got a swing trade setting up and it's at a good level, I'll take it pretty much any time of the day or night. Am I going to watch PA and Bunds at 35.14? Yeah, I'll watch it. There is a level up there that we've pointed out before. Let's draw that in. The last low pre-break, 35.14's at this low. That trade doesn't excite me as much as seeing it break down through here and wanting to get on board short. This is a trade I could take it or leave it. But this one under here, if it breaks this, I would be genuinely pissed off if I'm not trying to get in that. Like, this is a trade I think you cannot afford to miss. It's a very obvious trade. Should be a very easy trade. Very clear direction if that breaks. Clear target. Good structure. So 14s is alright. Yeah, we'll watch it. But it doesn't excite me as much as this low break, which I don't think we're going to get now anyway. Yeah, it's because you've got the volume value area, high and low overlap, which, by the way, is now absolutely perfect at 67s. And you've got hourly structure there, and you've got the inside day failure. I don't think it will play out today because Bunds had a chance. They did fail on the 5 minute at the inside day, and we've made a new low and then immediately just ramped all the way back to the high. So I think there's very little chance of this occurring, but you just keep an open mind and see. 14s is not naked, so yeah, we definitely have to watch the order flow up there and see what occurs. 14s will be harder work, Stepan, let's put it that way. You've got to watch the fucking order flow. You've got FTAs not far below market. Like, you've got to work for your money trying to sell 14s. But if it breaks that 67s to the downside, I think it will be a relatively easy trade. Famous last words. Okay, so just keeping my eye on Bunds, I'll just keep pulling it onto the screen here because it is failing again at a new high. I'd love this to break these 67s. I would absolutely love that. Let's see, one can but hope. Crude oil still flirting with this morning's lows. Come on, Bund. God, it actually looks like it might give me a play. How exciting. That's the zone that you want to see it clear. So it's the volume value area, high and low overlap. Ironic, isn't it, that this morning Stepan was asking me about this trade and I was saying, well, it's not one for me, but it's not a bad level. You could trade it, and then from there fucking all the way up without ever taking that low, straight to the inside day high. Oh, crude, come on, mate. Let's not keep making new lows and drag my 38% fib lower. What I like about these kinds of plays, by the way, is, you know, even if it looks initially like it's getting away from you, that's okay. Some of them will, and you'll get the next one if it does. But you've got a clear feeling for where this is going. You can just imagine if you were long this from a higher time frame perspective, having stops underneath these lows and how vulnerable you'd feel seeing this price action. We've got a weekly bearish engulfing. We've lost the head of the hammer. Yes, we've still got the rest of today and tomorrow to play out, but it really looks like it's drawing down towards this area, and I just simply want to get in on a pullback. But I'm not desperate. I'm not getting on a pullback of this low. I want a nice little pullback, ideally to the 38% fib in the last low pre-break, and I'm all over it. Stalking it. A bit like I'm stalking these Bunds. I like that fib so much that I'll probably even move that offer lower in line with the fib. So let's say it trades down here and the fib comes down to, say, here. I'll probably offer that low out. Let's just say that price traded all the way down here but didn't break the low, and we had something like that and then a rally off these lows and a double bottom. You know what, I'm probably going to go offered here. If it made a perfect double bottom, you'd have the 38% fib at this last low pre-break. But I mean, that's all way in the future at the moment. But I'm basically tracking the last low pre-break in line with that 38 fib. Finn says, just did my arse on the US 100. What did you do in that then? You want me to pull up a NASDAQ chart now, don't you? Alright, hold on a minute. What did you trade here? Daily level of 2262. Are you looking at a different chart? Ah, you're on the cash, are you? Okay, so I take it you sold it. Oh, you got to be looking at the futures, mate. What cash chart are you looking at? What, one of these? Capital.com. Oh, here? Did you sell that? Fuck me, that chart looks so different. So you were talking about going in there and putting a stop above that thrust candle, I presume. And then you get hit on it pretty much perfectly and then it sells off. Yeah, I mean, I don't trade those cash charts for indices. I really think you want to look at the future, personally. The only spot markets I use are Forex, silver and gold. What's the reason for not trading the cash chart? Because all the big players are looking at the futures market. So they're basing their decisions on the levels in the futures market. Yes, they do look at back adjusted charts. Stepan, did you consider bidding the last high pre-break at 62.80 in the New Zealand dollar on Tuesday? Here, no. I think I covered this in a session, why I didn't buy that. I just didn't like the way it was trading down into it. We'd lost the weekly swing high and we were just collapsing down into this area. And the entire US dollar complex was falling out of bed. So I decided not to stand in front of it. I'll delete this now, close through, because we put that on in the morning session in relation to this shooting star and saying that I wanted to close through that in order to offer it. So that's redundant now. I'll take that off. How's everyone's trading day going today then? You guys up, down? Anyone not traded yet? Like me? Flat, flat. Sweet FA. 2 break evens today. Up 1.75R. Well done, Martin. One loss, 1 break even. Up 1R in Bund. Well done, Stepan. You're beating me today. Navigating some treacherous waters at the minute. 6-hour losing streak. Fuck. That doesn't sound pleasant. What's your protocol for getting out of drawdown? Take a break? It depends how bad the drawdown is. You know, not if you're 2 or 3 hour down, but you know, if you start to get into drawdown that's really making you sweat, just take a few days off. Literally, don't even look at the charts. Don't go on social media. Don't interact with anyone about markets. Take a few days off to clear your head, and then come back and immediately start with the negative visualization, which is like, well, I very much doubt that I'm suddenly going to turn this drawdown around, but I want to keep trading. The good setups, I know I have edge over time. Just kind of mentally make peace with the fact that you are probably going to draw down even further. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you're likely to panic if the next trade's a loser and you're even slightly further into drawdown now. We'd really love to hear more about track records and how good they need to be accepted by traditional style prop desks. I could try and get Ryan on here at some point from Rain. Maybe he'll talk about that. He's the one that's looking at traders. Maybe I'll try and get him on before this ends. You can throw your questions at him. Yeah, Bunz is looking a little bit better here. Still drifting back to these lows from earlier in the session. Keep our eye on it. We've had 2 tests of the inside day. Both of them have failed now with significant rejection wicks. We're back down through the prior week's volume value area high and coming into this overlap level here, which is this pullback low, but this is in terms of market profile today's volume value area low and yesterday's volume value area high. Really critical area. I think we're going to take it out. So what I want to see is just a move down through here, then sell a retest. So far, this is the last low pre-break. We'll track it as it moves lower. It's the 5-minute last low pre-break. Let's put it in blue. Right into the level now. But we want to see it push right through here, not just pop its head through, push nicely through and then look for the short. Alright, it's trying to move through this level now. There's the 5-minute close through it, so it looks like game on. Give it some time to accept through here. Remember, where this blue level is not only the previous week's volume value area high, but it is also just above the low of this shooting star on the hourly that's formed. I'm not offered there, by the way. I'm just watching that area for now. And of course this low that we're breaking through. The ultimate target for this boon is the inside day low. Tick beneath it, so you're looking at 33s for the exit. We are right on that overlap between yesterday's volume value area high and today's volume value area low, trading smack bang on it right now. It looks like we're trying to lose it. If it starts to move considerably down here, then I'm going to move the last low pre-break to there, and that's where I'll be offered. But I'm going to have the stop above this thrust candle, which is going to mean a fairly wide stop on this. You're looking at 86s for the stop, going in at 71s. It's a 15 tick stop, but then again you're playing for 33s. So what's that? Risking 15 for 38. No, I'm not short yet. Not in a hurry, mate. You in a hurry? Need to make some money, do you? Just gotta relax. Just relax. Just say I might miss it and it's okay. Gotta look right. And it still might look right and you still get it wrong, but at least make sure that if you're getting stopped out, it looked fucking right to begin with. There's nothing worse than getting stopped out and then you've jumped the fucking gun and traded something that you didn't really want just so you got some action. The stop, unfortunately, does have to be all the way up here because there's every possibility that that could come back and test this low at 76s. I wouldn't really expect it, but I really wouldn't want to puke before that low is tested. But let's see how this shapes up. I tend to only hit market on those rare times when I'll trade news or when there's an SFP. I don't hit market very often at all. I do nearly everything via limits. No one's FOMOing in anything. Like, it seems like there's a load of questions about totally different things as usual. I'm staring at bunds. People are talking about fucking dollar Canadian level. Mate, you'll have to deal with that on your own. I'm not taking my attention off these bunds at the moment. BTC's going for my level, you're telling me. It's a fucking $1,000 away. BTC can wait. There's no order in BTC at the moment. I'm going to have to try and scramble if that gets up there. Busier than a fucking cat trying to bury shit on a marble floor here. Right, I'm going to whack an offer in at 71s. Stop 85. Target's going to be 33s. Offer's not in yet. Still not in. Why are you saying good luck to me? Think I need it? Everyone and their mum will put this order in. No, they won't, because nobody else is trading bunds apart from me. Alright, the trade's going to look like this from a trading view, risk-reward tool. Fucking hell, now crude oil's starting to rally its tits off. If the target's hit prior to being filled, do you pull your order? Yeah. Look at you lot going, Bitcoin, you're going to miss a fill, you're going to miss a fill. There's a fucking huge wick on it. Who steamed in at this low? I bet someone sold it at 67s there, didn't they? Someone in this room sold 67s when it closed through. Go on, own up. I don't know if I'm going to get this fill, but what I want to draw your attention to here is isolating a level where you know that on movement through it you've got the market by the balls. Because that level's absolutely critical with the inside day failure in play. This is going to get drawn towards that inside day low. The only question is, do we get a fill before it happens? But that is where it's going. And you've got to start thinking when you're looking at price action like this that you're not going to get a fill. But again, that's okay. These things set up regularly. So if you don't get a fill and it goes to target, you move on to the next one. It's a pretty rapid move down. No pullback to speak of so far at all. Other than, you know, once it broke this level here, you get a slight pullback to test it from underneath and it's just off to the races. I'm going to put an order in crude in a second. So I am setting the trade up like this. Again, going offered here, stop above the thrust, target all the way down here. This hasn't set up in the same way as, say, something like the Bund, but I like this trade a lot. $69.23 is where I'm going offered if you want the exact price in that oil. That's a huge R if I pull that off. But it remains to be seen if I can. You've just got long the dollar CAD. You've just got raped on the dollar CAD. What the fuck are you doing in the dollar CAD, man? What's going on in the dollar CAD? Fuck me, mate. You're exactly where there's no action. What is that? Why did you just buy that? You've got to have seen something on the lower time frame, surely. What on earth did you just buy that for? Anticipated a breakout on the 4-hourly level. What? Oh, you've done your arse really badly. Anticipated a breakout on the 4-hourly. What? You just bought above this high? No, mate. That's poor. Sorry. Did you plan that out, or did you just steam into something for some action? Be honest. Had you planned that earlier? Did you come in saying, you know what, if it breaks that high, I'm getting in? Because even though I still don't agree with it, that's kind of acceptable. If you've had a plan and you've stuck to it, then that's your plan. But tell me you didn't just buy that on some momentum. Kinda? What does kinda mean? Come on, Bund. Give me a pullback. Don't worry, Iru. You can laugh at me if I get this Bund wrong. So 69.23, let me just bring the chart onto the screen. This is how it looks for NYMEX November. If you're looking at a cash chart, then you just want to find that corresponding level. But it is just above this thrust candle. It is naked, and it's that low. And it's actually ahead of the 38% fib. Beyond the upside ATR projection for the day, coming in just ahead of the big weekly level, which is the head of this hammer that we've lost and these lows back here. It's a pretty obvious area on the daily. I'm going to be honest, I don't really want to get filled today in this. Can anyone guess why I don't want to get filled on that today? Have a look at that daily candle. Imagine what it would look like if I get a fill. It would look like a huge fucking hammer that I'm going against, and the whole day's move will be undone. So I like it at the moment, but I really want to see it just stop around here. Now I'll put the order in, but honestly, if it suddenly goes vertical, that's probably going to get pulled. I want it to just stop around here, fill me tomorrow. That's ideal there. You just don't want that fill today. So I've actually got the ticker up on my platform on the other screen. I've filled in 69.23 on the limit. I've filled in 69.80 for the stop, and I've filled in 65.62 for the target. And I'm just going to keep that ticker up, and I'm going to press place sell limit order when the day basically ends. So it's ready to go. I've kind of done the preliminary work in identifying the level and putting it into the fucking order book. I just haven't sent it yet. Will I hold it over the weekend? Well, let's go one step at a time, mate. So let's see if I get the fill first, and then we're back here tomorrow night for a Friday night rundown. So if I've got a fill, I'll tell you what I've done and whether I'm holding it if I'm still in it. My order still isn't in Bunds, by the way, but it's ready to go in at 71s. I mean, this doesn't have to take us in today. It's going to close as inside day failure with this long shooting star. If it doesn't take this out, look how it's closing. This will be a trade that you can come in and just offer it tomorrow. It doesn't have to get you in today. Tom, you are going to make the whole of VFL hold oil short over the weekend, and China will invade Taiwan on Saturday. Your reputation will be in tatters. Yeah, definitely. Look, if we close here without taking the inside day low, then again, the order's going in for the overnight session, just like it will in oil. This trade will renew your love for oil. I fucking hope so. Quick look at Bitcoin. What's good old BTC doing today? I saw it going up in my peripheral. I saw you lot getting excited. Man, it's fucking miles away from where I'm getting in. You lot need to relax, man. You lot really need to take a breather. Do some deep breathing like me. You got to stop caring. This is why people do so well on demo and they do their arse when they go live. Because they just don't care the same. Just stop caring. That doesn't mean go mental. I don't care anymore. I'm doing 50% risk on the next trade. But I mean, stop worrying about everything. What if it's a loser? What if I miss it? What if this? What if that? My auntie had bollocks. She'd be my fucking uncle. Just chill. I think I've missed part of the context of this Bund trade. You're fading an inside day, but without there actually being an inside day failure. What? Mate, there is an inside day failure. It's taken out the high of the inside day, and it's failed, and it's now moved right back through the range. So I'm just trying to get on board short. I mean, it hasn't closed. It's not confirmed inside day failure. I'm preempting that it will close as it, which it is going to close as it. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to miss these sessions when they're over. This is our last live day together. It's really sad. I like sitting here, chatting shit and calling levels that are going to get hit the next day at this rate. Now, I'm not sure what Bund is doing back here so quickly. I'm getting Aussie dollar vibes from this morning here. Still, this order isn't in. You never want to see anything come back too quick like this. This entire move undoes all of this. This is where you want to see it just drift, not go fucking vertical right back. Developing volume value area low for today is all the way down at 62s now. So it's looking like that. The volume value area overlap that I was talking about is looking like that. So we're just testing it from underneath. This isn't exactly what I wanted to see, I'll be honest with you. What I'd like to have seen is a drift back, not a sudden violent reversal undoing this move. Because it's coming into 4 o'clock, so you'd sort of see it drift back, drift higher overnight, little spike up in the morning on the Frankfurt Open, that kind of thing. I don't like the drift, but you accept the drift at certain times of day because the market does drift at certain times of day. What you don't want to see it do is drift in the active session. Let's have a quick look around. So oil is exactly where I want it. That's good. That order will go in tonight. BTC, it's not going to hit my sell tonight, BTC. And then ATR is going to reset. You can see why I'm not rushing to put the order in. You still see the Aussie dollar, the New Zealand dollar. They're all holding these levels. Once we broke above these areas, they're all holding them from above. See, that was always the danger with the Kiwi selling there. Like I said this morning, if it can't get through here, you're in trouble. Would you expect Bund to come down and fill this little gap? I mean, I'm expecting Bund to come down based on how this is looking on the daily. But I am not putting this offer in yet. S&P leaving quite a long rejection wick. A lot of people ask me why I don't hit market and get in aggressively, why I wait for returns to levels. Not that this is going to happen every single time, but this is quite a nice example of it. Imagine you just steamed in down here, confident that this is going to get to the target, and it really looked like it, and then it reverses on you. You've got to suffer the indignity of then seeing it go from nicely onside to offside, which is fucking with your psychology. So this is why I just wait at levels for the pullback rather than try and chase momentum. Not that you can't chase momentum and make money, it's just I don't like to do it. Yeah, the volume value area low for today's now dropped to 53s, which is yesterday's VPOC. So we're all the way down here. This is a bit of a wash now. The overlap has gone. That's 4 minutes to the top of the hour. This is going to be a wash. After wanting it, I don't want it anymore. I don't like the extent of this pullback at all. Look at the wick it's left here on the hourly. The state of that. I'm not entirely ruling it out, but I'm certainly not going off with their blind, which I was prepared to do 25 minutes ago. How many of you guys are sitting in here thinking, how is this fucking guy so patient? Wow, BTC is really leaving a dirty little wick on that 60-minute chart. I just want to see if this level trades in Boone, because ordinarily I'd be thinking of closing the room now, but I just want to see if it trades, so let's give it a little bit longer. Now this did close through this low in Bund, which is good. I tell you what I'm going to do here in this Bund. I'm not going to offer this out tonight. It's getting a bit late in the session. If we don't tag this area, this blue line tonight, and we close as an inside day failure, I am going to go offered there in the morning. Also, I'm going to put in that crude oil order tonight as well. So there might be some action tomorrow, because we've had no fucking action today. That sod's law, it's going to kick off tomorrow by the look of things. Be nice to see it close around here and then just pop higher into that level in the morning. Yeah, I'm a very picky man, Stepan. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it a day here. Alright, so let's recap what I'm looking for overnight. So, this crude oil, first and foremost, this trade is getting set up exactly like this. So that's the level that I want to sell. This is November. NYMEX 69.23. Stop above this thrust candle that closed through that level. You can see that the level is just in front of the high of the hammer on the weekly, so it's the weekly level, and just behind the 38%. So there's a big area of confluence there. If you wanted to draw a box of the confluence, look at that. Look what you've got happening in that box. You've currently got upside ATR, you've got a key level, a swing low on the hourly, high of hammer on weekly, and 38% fib, all coming in that range there, and I'm offered smack bang in the middle of it. So that's crude oil. That order is going to go in basically on the close tonight. So the only caveat is I just don't want to get filled until this daily candle has finished closing. As soon as it's finished closing, I will put that in. But you really want to see it close somewhere around here, maybe a little bit lower, maybe a fraction higher. You don't want to see it close just underneath this level, because then, you know, look what it will be shaping up like on the daily. You'll be seeing a very long rejection wick. So ideally, you just want it to be around here where it closes, and that order goes in. That's crude oil. Bund, the trade here is obviously the same that I spoke about earlier. This is how I would set it up. I didn't like how quickly this came back, but that's okay because it still hasn't tagged the entry point and it has closed through that low. So this is fine. What you really want to see in an ideal world here, and you don't always get ideal world conditions, but in an ideal world it will just stop now. Fuck about here for the rest of the day into the close, and we'll get short on a spike up there tomorrow morning. That's Bund. But I am not offering it there tonight. That is only going to be happening tomorrow now, dependent on it closing as an inside day failure without taking out this low. Remains to be seen whether that's going to happen. And then BTC, there's still no order in this market, but I will hit this as long as the sell level, which is there when you zoom out on the chart, looks like that, is past ATR. But ATR is going to keep resetting every day. So I really want that level to be behind ATR. So ATR is in front of it. As long as that's the case, I will happily take that short. It's not the world's greatest R, but it's pretty high probability. Still prepared to hit that today, because it is past ATR if it trades up there. I don't think it will get up there today. So again, I'm just going to keep my eye on that and put it in when it gets very, very close to it and I know it's past ATR. Alright, ledges, I'll call it a day there. Will you pull the order in crude oil if it closes where you plan to enter? Yes. If crude oil closes, probably, let's have a look where that blue line comes in on a daily chart. No, that's fine. Let's have a look at that. If crude oil closes above that blue line, then no, that order's going to get pulled. As long as it closes beneath there, the order will go in. That's the point on the daily where it just starts to look like a seriously big rejection wick if it closes up that high. And still doesn't mean the trade won't work, but you know me, everything's got to look exactly right for me to pull the trigger. So yeah, let's see tomorrow. I'll keep the charts as they are with all the levels on. Wish you good night. Go have a glass of whiskey. And I'll catch you tomorrow.